If you like our video, click the button to subscribe to our channel and get easy access to new content. To see our full suite of ad-free video courses, instruction manuals, and quick reference guides, visit us at www.teachucomp.com. The Magnetic Lasso Tool in Photoshop is a selection tool that makes the selection's border snap to the pixelated edges of an element you trace in an image. It helps you select objects in Photoshop with complex, irregular edges set against a high contrast background. To use the Magnetic Lasso Tool in Photoshop, click the Magnetic Lasso Tool button in the Tools panel. The Magnetic Lasso Tool shares the same button in the Tools panel with the Lasso Tool and Polygonal Lasso Tool, and the button shows the icon for the last tool selected. So, if needed, make sure you select the Magnetic Lasso Tool by clicking and holding down on this button and then selecting the Magnetic Lasso Tool choice from the side menu that appears. To show a drop-down menu of saved tool presets from which you can choose if you created any for the Magnetic Lasso Tool, click the Click to open the Tool Preset Picker button at the left end of the Options bar control panel. To choose a selection setting button to use for your selection, click either the New Selection, Add to Selection, Subtract from Selection, or Intersect with Selection button in the Options bar control panel. This choice determines how the selection you are about to make interacts with any existing active selections in the Photoshop document. To apply feathering to your selection, which softens the selection border by changing the opacity or transparency of the pixels in its feathering border width, type the number of pixels of feathering width to apply to the selection border into the Feather field. To smooth rounded edges in the pixel selection, check the Anti-Alias checkbox. To set the pixel range distance from the Magnetic Lasso Tool's pointer within which it looks for the border of the object it is tracing in the image, type the range of pixels into the Width field. To set the percentage of change in pixel contrast that determines how the Magnetic Lasso Tool finds the edges of the object in the image, type a percentage into the Contrast field. A higher percentage makes the tool find edges that sharply contrast its surroundings. A lower percentage detects lower contrast variations. To set the frequency with which the Magnetic Lasso Tool sets fastening points at the edge of the object in the image as you trace its border, type a value between 1 and 100 into the frequency field. A higher value increases the frequency with which the Magnetic Lasso Tool sets its fastening points at the edge of the image element as you trace its border. To toggle using pen or stylus pressure to change the width setting of the Magnetic Lasso Tool if using a stylus tablet, click the Use Tablet Pressure to change pen width button in the Options bar control panel to turn it on or off. If enabled, the button appears selected with square shading around it. If enabled, an increase to the pen pressure when using the Magnetic Lasso Tool decreases the edge width setting. To use the Magnetic Lasso Tool in Photoshop after applying the desired tool settings, click and drag the pointer of the Magnetic Lasso Tool's mouse pointer icon around the border of the object in the image to select. Note that the selection line appears at the tip of the arrow icon for the Magnetic Lasso Tool. As you do this, the tool adds fastening point anchors where it finds the object's edges. To delete the previously added fastening point anchor if needed, press the Delete key on your keyboard. Then back up and redrag the line at the edge of the object. To manually set a fastening point anchor at any point as you are dragging, click the mouse. You may need to do this in crevices and corners of the object's border in the image. To finish the selection, trace your way back to the starting point. Then hover the Magnetic Lasso Tool's pointer icon over the origin point until a small circle appears next to the tool's pointer icon. Then click to close the selection. Alternatively, to close the selection before returning to the origin point anchor, which draws a straight line from that point back to the origin point, double-click at any point as you drag with the Magnetic Lasso tool. Remember to click the subscribe button to see more of our videos. See our full suite of courses, instruction manuals, and quick reference guides at www.teachucomp.com.